All right, you guys, welcome in. Welcome in. This is a little bonus reading I've been wanting to do around Jupiter retrograding in Gemini this month, and it's going to be a big deal. It's going from 21 degrees 20 minutes back to 11 degrees. So I think I might have said 22 yesterday, but it's 21. So if you have any planets in that location in Gemini, or your ascendant or anything at all, it's going to be activated. Whatever planet or whatever you have there is going to be activated. So if you don't know how to think about that, I'm going to be talking about that this week in my astrology group on Thursday. If you want to jump on, it's Understanding Your Astrology. There's a link below. And we do a lot of beginner topics. We do a lot of, ways to understand current transit. So that's what we're going to be talking about this week. I also will talk about that in Pathfinders, just for you guys edification about the themes that you might see coming up for you, or the archetypes we'll be working with. And Gemini is the energy. So Gemini archetypes can be trickster archetype. That's a shadow element of Gemini. Also, because it's about the communicator, and if something is in shadow, it's giving you information that may or may not really be true. So you're going to have to pay attention a little bit harder for the next 4 months, because this retrograde is likely to give us some kind of upside down communication, just FYI. Okay, so transmute, healer. Oh, yes. Air. Okay. Gemini energy and new life. Oh, wow. Okay. So, I don't know if any of you have heard of Gabor Mate. He is a doctor. He's a very, very strong intuitive. I can tell just by listening to him. He's also somebody that talks about childhood trauma, and he talks about it as trauma is not something that happens to you. It's what happens inside of you when an event happens, or when a situation happens to you. And it's kind of like, I talk a lot about story, and I use story as a way of healing, as a way of delivering medicine. And if you have Gemini truths rattling around in you that are holding you back in your life, this Jupiter in retrograde can be the thing that kind of undoes those knots. Okay, that undoes the knots of story that you just believe are true. You're not really questioning it, because this is what, sort of an underpinning of what reality is to you. So this can be a very kind of upside down time. And I feel like, in a good way though, new life. I feel like what's happening here is, a lot of people, no change happens until you step into a new truth. If you believe something about yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, then you always operate from that framework. You're always operating from that lower vibe framework. In order for you to manifest a new life, you've got to step into a new truth. That's just part of it. And Jupiter retrograding in Gemini can help you undo some of those stories that you're telling yourself. And you might not even, honestly, you might not even recognize that some of these can be undone. You might just think that this is just reality. This is just who I am, or this is just what I've been told. Okay. And so that's the way the world works. I feel like from October 9th, that's when the retrograde happens, for the next 4 months into February. You might see some things that you thought were true not be true. And you also might untangle for yourself, and be able to step into something new. Okay. So, oh yeah, look at this. Talk about stepping into something new. The Fool, the World. Wow. Stepping through a looking glass. And then Queen of Swords. That's Libra energy. Knight of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. So some of you have been, have believed the energy of the Knight of Wands. So this could be about another person that you're seeing more clearly now. You're seeing them as for the truth of them, not for the paradigm or not for the framework that you wanted them to be. I think I talked about this in the For Whoever reading on Sunday, that you can give someone, you can put someone on a pedestal. You can tell yourself a story about this person. This is a thing you hope is true. And, hope is very Sagittarian energy, right? Opposite of Gemini. Hope is very, without any kind of grounding, that can be called wishful thinking. And wishful thinking is something that will set you off into fantasy, which actually during this time period is not helpful. Okay? Because don't get confused with manifesting something that isn't currently in your reality. You need to determine the reality first. You need to come at it from, okay, this is where we are. And if you're shifting the framework of I'm worthy, I'm lovable, I'm kind, I'm generous, I'm quirky, whatever, away from any kind of toxic storylines you're telling yourself, that is an excellent use of Gemini energy, an excellent use of, and this is Jupiter, also Wheel of Fortune. It's an excellent use of this combination of paradigms or themes that can bring you toward this brand new life. Look at that. World and the Fool, that's the beginning and the ending. It's like the end. It's not the end of the beginning. It's the beginning of an ending of an old paradigm. Okay, beginning of an ending. Oh yeah, look at that. The Death card showing up. 9 of Swords. Very confused energy here. Hanged Man. Hermit. Oh, thank you. Hermit. 5 of Wands. Other people wanted you to believe this. Oh my goodness. Tower. Wow. 7 of Cups. There's the confusion and the conflict. 2 of Cups. And the 4 of Wands. That's really beautiful energy. This feels like you're making a new choice. Okay, you're making a new choice. Some of you, this may show up in your love life, that you choose people who are toxic for you, or you choose because somewhere in you feel like that's what you deserve, or that is what is your match energetically, because that's low vibe. All right, if you're coming at it from a place of unworthiness, that's low vibe, so you're attracting low vibe. Okay, so when you're not in that anymore, when you're free of that, it can feel a little disorienting. Okay, it can feel a little bit uprooted, because you're uprooting a paradigm that you've believed your whole life. This is enlightenment. This is seeing things from a new angle. Hanged Man is about surrendering to what is. And I feel like you might have a teacher around you, or you might be dealing with someone who's helping you navigate this, or this could just be you stepping into your power and turning your back on other people who want you to stay in that conflict. Okay? No. Tower. Some of you are very far off of your path because you've believed a story that you were told, especially those of you who grew up as scapegoats, black sheep of the family. Okay? If you grew up that way, you are the truth tellers. And the truth tellers, other people don't like that. People who are trying to keep you in the lie don't like a truth teller. Okay? And so you might have this conflict happening, and it's almost like you're very Queen of Swords here. Like you've decided, you've made some kind of decision. Now, this can be going on over the next 5 weeks or so. The time period, we also have Pluto moving into Aquarius November 19th. Somewhere around December 6th or 7th, we have an opposition. It's right in the middle of the Jupiter retrograde. That is when the sun is opposing Jupiter, and like December 6th or 7th. And I think it's like 16 degrees of Sagittarius. So the sun is right there, and the sun is saying, hey, shine a light on the new truth. And Sagittarian energy is belief systems, like you're uprooting a whole belief system. This is how you break generational karma, being a truth teller. Okay. And because if you've believed all this time that it was okay to be in a abusive marriage, because that's what mom did. That's just the way it works. No, it's not. You can uproot this, okay? You can really uproot this. Talk to me about the Tower. I feel like this is a truth breaking through. Ace of Wands, yes, indeed. Ace of Wands, King of Pentacles. Look at that. 10 of Wands, 3 of Swords. We are done serving whoever this reading is for. We're done, and maybe this is the collective as well, that we're done serving a person who's benefiting a lot. I don't usually see this in an ill-dignified way, but this is someone who's really benefited. Like they're the ones that get, okay, this is like a person who makes a partnership with you and then they get all the benefit. They take all the money and they're going to give you just a little bit here and there. And hopefully you'll be okay with that. They're not really, and it's not a lot of money. It's not an equal share for sure, but it's much less than that. It's sort of like you'll get nothing and like it kind of a feeling here. And this 3 of Swords is telling me that that's done for you. You're going to start seeing partnerships in a much more equitable way. This could be somebody also that doesn't really give you much in a love relationship. They're breadcrumbing. So it doesn't have to be a marriage. It can be a relationship where it's just out of balance. Okay. Whatever that looks like, it's out of balance. And this is the aha moment. This is the awareness of, oh yeah, this isn't good. This isn't good. So I feel like once that happens, like you're in this is a beginner's mind thing. You're like in a new paradigm. And once something that has been the foundation of everything you've built your life on gets blown up, it can be very disconcerting for a while. So I have a feeling this retrograde is going to drop some of you into a brand new life that has like literally you don't have any coordinates. Okay. Because your coordinates have been blown up. My coordinates are, I'm not good enough. This person, maybe they're narcissistic. Maybe they're just a jerk, or maybe they're just somebody who's very unfair about things, who's doing things that they want to do and then kind of calling you unfair or calling, if you call it out, they're undermining your self-confidence. So you never do it anymore. Something like that. And this is a time where there's a sort of an unmooring here. Like, what is the truth then? If that's not the truth, then what is the truth? What is marriage supposed to be like? What is partnership supposed to be like? And really, what is the truth you're stepping into? Because you can, and I feel like this needs to take some time here. This needs to slow down, because I don't feel like just trading one set of beliefs for another set of beliefs just because you're afraid is going to be a good thing. I feel like you need to sit in the lack of clarity about where you're going for a minute, for 7 days, for a week, for 4 weeks, whatever it is. Sit in the unknowing. That's what the Fool is. The Fool doesn't have any preconceived notions about where they're going. The Fool has no awareness, even of the past. It's almost like that is now an illusion that's getting blown apart. And the truth is, the future is you need to be okay with uncertainty. Okay? Because the good news is you've blown up something that you were putting way too much time and attention to, way too much of your energy to, and that is done. Once you call this truth out for a lie, or an unfairness at the very least, then you kind of get this tabula rasa thing. You're needing time for your actual truths to bubble up. okay, for what it is that you value. And, if I'm a truth teller, if that's who I am, what is that archetype? What is that archetype? What is my new paradigm? Okay, what is my new paradigm? And that's different for each one of you. Five of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, good for you. There it is, the Strength card and the Lovers card. Now, here's Gemini. Who was I listening to? They were talking about the tyranny of either or and the growth model of both and. So if you have very black and white thinking about things, and this is Gemini energy, the shadow of Gemini is trickster. And it gets you to believe in either or thinking. It's this or that. But the growth paradigm of both and, okay? So there can be a sense of like, all right, I'm rejecting this idea of unworthiness and shame. I'm rejecting all of that. Am I perfect? Nope, not perfect. But moving through this, becoming more courageous, stepping into this is courage. This requires courage for you to determine who you're becoming in this life and rejecting the idea of either or, black and white thinking, rejecting that and moving into, it's almost like you're rejecting this, it's like all or nothing kind of feeling. So there can be this sense, and I feel like this is true, that there can be some kind of reconciliation on a new set of rules, a new platform. So if you were coming from a paradigm of I'm not good enough, then chances are the person who is like, yep, you're not good enough. And so I see that in you. I see that energetically in you, and I'm coming your way. That person, those people are going to get blown out. Correct. But you can on some level, like say this is family, someone that you don't believe is toxic, but you've just been in that energy for so long. There are people who can deal with the new truth of you, and they're very happy to do so. This is not about your whole life going away. The people who do go away after this were so down with you being not good enough. They kind of wanted that, for you to lose something or for you to end something. They wanted that. And so those people are going to go away, or they wanted you to be in slavery your whole life. They wanted you to feel less than, because that's the only way they felt good, is if you felt less than. Now, this is about, no, not less than, brand new. So there's a sense of, there's pieces of the energy of you that, there's no such thing as all good, all bad. There's no such thing as that. So there are some pieces of you that will survive this. Maybe you have a really great sense of humor, but you've been using it to depreciate your own worth. Now your sense of humor might change, okay? But it still sticks around. You may be somebody who isn't interested in certain things in your life because you felt like you weren't worthy of them. Love or money, appreciation, abundance, always pushing that away. But now you can take that in. So this is a beautiful blend. And I feel like the people who stick around are the keepers. Okay, so I'm going to continue with this reading, Jupiter retrograding, and let's see what might come through in terms of any kind of blocks you'll need to be working on. Like what are the obstacles that happen because of this? What don't you see coming? And we'll get some guidance from Spirit for you. Okay, link is below if you want to continue on. This is a bonus reading about Jupiter in retrograde. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.